It's time for the trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Be a good time, gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Be a good time, gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Project 2025 would dismantle democracy as we know it.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
Is a vision of implementing a startlingly authoritarian form of the U.S. government.
Same thing with the unions. They get their little 5%. They get another 2%. They get another 3%, 4%. Then all of a sudden they're making more money than the people that own the company.
Do you do larger cuts, corporate cuts?
Yeah, I was planning on doing it. In fact,
You believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
What's at stake here is democracy itself. It's now Donald Trump's party. And if he's elected, the consequences will be catastrophic.
Donald Trump loves to say,
Fake news.
was it fake news when Donald Trump was recorded bragging about sexually assaulting women?
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Was it fake news when Trump called Mexicans rapists?
They're rapists.
Was it fake news when Trump said he was pro-choice until right before he ran for president?
I'm very pro-choice.
Was it fake news when Trump had his clothing line manufactured in China?
They're beautiful ties.
They are great ties.
The ties are made in where? China? China. Ties are made in China.
Was it fake news when Trump said women should be punished for having an abortion?
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Was it fake news when Trump refused to defend U.S. soldiers after Putin and Russia put bounties on their heads?
It never reached my desk.
Was it fake news when Trump defended white supremacists?
Very fine people on both sides.
Was it fake news when Trump spit on the memory of John Lewis?
I don't know John Lewis. He chose not to come to my inauguration.
Do you find him impressive?
The truth is, none of it was fake news. The truth is that Donald Trump is a no-good liar.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Hello. Good morning. Maybe I get some thumbs ups in there if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm stumbling on in here. Stumbling on in. Thanks everybody for being here. Let's see. Let me switch out the glasses. Switch out. Alrighty. All right, everybody. Hey, we got 30 watching, 30 thumbs ups. Thank you so much. It seems like it's been forever since I've seen you guys. So, yeah, we got seeing with the thumbs up. So, I guess you guys can hear me. It said Bob Newell, who was first in the chat, says I can't hear you, but I think he's just joking. Nick Rich is there. Hit the like button. Feed on the dashboard member for 1 month. Thank you very much. Feed on the dashboard. Loyal member. Teresa TAK is here. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Cian's here. Good morning. Mike Mayberry. Good morning, good everyone. Is here. Roxanne. Good morning to Roxanne. Mike Mayberry says, have you seen the latest John Oliver segment about election subversion? It's chilling. I don't really watch John Oliver. I think he's really good. I think he's really funny. I guess because I don't have HBO. Well, I have it on the TV, but I guess I don't subscribe to it right now. So, but there are clips probably available. But yeah, that sounds interesting to check out. Excuse me. Let's see, Mike Mayberry, are you nervous as I am about the cheating and dirty tricks Trumpy and his cohorts are up to? Damn it. Yeah, I guess I'm nervous. I mean, we know there's going to be some bullshit going on. So, yeah, we just got to be ever vigilant and expose everything that we see that they do. Roxanne says nice feet. I don't know whose feet we saw. Oh, no, oh, nice feet on the dashboard. Okay. Hey, Jolie's here. Happy birthday to Jolie, by the way. Thank you for being here on your birthday. I consider it an honor that you would spend time here on your birthday. So thank you so much. And I hope that you will go and have a good birthday today with your family and all that good stuff. Okay? Happy birthday. Yay! Happy birthday to Jolie. MJ Daniel says good morning. Roxanne says good morning to Jolie. Tamara's here. Hey, Tamara, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And Mike H says crank it up, Trucker John. Hey, just Julie's here. Hey, hello, Julie. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping on by here in the old driver's lounge. Good to see just Julie. Let's see here. Mr. Spock is here, so Mr. Spock gets one of these, but I just can't. I'm getting worse. I thought I would get better at it, but I think I'm getting worse. Live long and prosper, old Mr. Spock. Nick Rich needs a cookie for some reason. There's the. Oh, I get it. I'm so slow. Already, we just started the show. And you already need the cookie already. I mean, wow. You must be really jonesing for the old cookie monster here. I don't know. Whatevs, man. Whatevs. Whatever turns you on. Whatever cooks your crank. Cranks your whatever. You know. Whatever, man. I don't know what's going on here. There he is. Here I am. Hey, it's a little early for me, for old Cookie. I understand Nick Rich is you know, wanting to see the old Cookie boy. Well, here I am. Don't mind if I take a little sip of my coffee. Actually, I think this is Trucker John's coffee. Let's see what is Trucker John drinking. What kind of swill is this, Trucker John? All right, guys. Hey, yeah, whatever, Rich, whatever gets it going for you. You know, whatever it does, whatever you need. I'm here. I'm here for you, man. If you need a little cookie in your life, here's the cookie. I got your cookie. Got your cookie hanging. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Hey, but by the way, I just want to say happy birthday to Jolie. And I hope you're eating cake and not a cookie. You know what I mean? You know those big giant birthday cookies that they get? Yeah, I would stick with the cake. Yeah. It's a sad day for me when I see all the cookie cakes being devoured. That's actually a sad day for us in the cookie community. So I would go with the cake. Just saying. I'm just saying, you know. Anyhow, I got to get going. I just wanted to say a quick hi to Nick, who seems to be really wanting to see me. So far be it from me to deprive Nick of his cookie. You know what I mean? All right. So that was Cookie. That was the cookie, the tough cookie. You know. Hey, well, I would be remiss if I didn't come out and say hello to everybody. And also, I would like to wish Jolie a very happy birthday today. Okay, from all of us in the Purple Beard community, I'm just going to say happy birthday out there, Jolie. Have a great day. This is your day, girl. You enjoy it. You know, and make your family cater to you. Do good stuff for you today on your birthday. All right. So from all of us over here at the Purple Beard community, just want to say happy birthday to Jolie and hello everyone else. Thanks for being here. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. I might come in later on. Maybe if something. There's something I just cannot help having to put my 2 cents worth in. I might pop in a little later, but for now, I just want to say hi and wish Julie a happy birthday. So, all right. Those guys just barged on in, didn't they? They just barged in, and took over the show for a bit there, I guess. Let's see, where was I at? Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, just Julie is here. Mr. Bob Newell, I'm here for the Ozium advice. Yes. I still have not bought any Ozium. I don't know if I'm going to buy any Ozium, but like I say, the need for it comes up so seldom. But I guess it's speaking of the car. Well, I'll get into the car. I have a whole saga going. Let me just skip down into the chat and say hi to everybody. Midas Kevin's here. Hello, Midas. MJ Daniel is in the chat. It's going to get worse before November. Americans had better pay attention. I think more and more of us are. Hopefully, we've learned our lessons from 2016 and 2020. Hey, there's Jolie with the member for 8 months. Well, thank you, Jolie. Jack McCool, coolest name on the internet, says, "Why didn't you do your mom this week?" What? That sounded terrible. That did sound terrible, Jack. Well, that goes into the saga, I think, of what was going on. I will get to the saga in just a minute here. Just Julie says hello from Texas. Well, welcome from Texas. Nick Rich 945. So I'm about 6 minutes behind. Teresa saying happy birthday to Jolie. Mr. Bob Newell, I forgot what I was going to say. There's Seha. Happy butt squeezing, happy B-Day hugs. Hey, Seha, good to see you. Thanks for being in the chat with us today. Always good to see Seha. Seha. Let's see. CN says happy birthday to Julie. Everyone's saying happy birthday. Jupiter Judy is here. Hey, Jupiter Judy. Thanks for dropping on in. Thanks for being here. Stopping on by. Midas Kevin says I'm going to like this weekend. I'm going to like this weekend. Don't know what movie my mom is going to plan being her birthday, but we did plan a barbecue picnic. Oh, that sounds very nice. Very nice, and happy birthday to your mom. Nick Rich, the cookie drinks through his nut. The cookie just he's known for that. Let's see here. Robert Perez. Hey, Robert Perez here. It's the top of the morning to you, Trucker John. Happy birthday, Jolie. Hey, Robert. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Mike Maybear, it's the day after your birthday when you get to have cake for breakfast. Oh, yeah. And usually the cake part might not be too good, but usually the frosting is still good. You know what I mean? MJ Daniel, I like the line from The Last of Us on HBO where he says, "The coffee smells like burnt shit." He takes a big slurp. I don't remember that line, but I saw the show. Say how I like soft cookies. Yeah, soft cookies are much better than tough cookies. That's for sure. Let's see. I'm just skipping on down a little bit here. Skip it on down. Mr. Spock says the Cookie Monster was caught speeding recently. I guess he was in a hurry to the opening of the new Mr. Christie's head office. I didn't hear about that one. I did not hear about that. Robert Perez, Jolie, maybe you can get Trucker John to pop out of your birthday cake in only his birthday suit. That would be something that no one would want to see. It would be a birthday ruiner, and I don't want to be a birthday ruiner. Let's see. Midas Kevin says, Roxanne, I found a real mushy story card from my mom. It has 3 pages to it. Wow. Personally, for me, I hate those kind of birthday cards where you got to sit there and read for an hour. I like mine, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's like, happy birthday, have a good day, congratulations, or making it this far, or whatever. But bum boom, and that's it. I'm not like, I don't do the mushies. Usually. I mean, I've given my kids some cards that were maybe a little bit mushy, but it wasn't 3 pages. It was like maybe a paragraph or 2. And then I'll write some of my own stuff on the side, like, stick with school, or whatever. I don't know. You can do it. CN says, after Obama, we are in this shit, and after Harris, it could be worse, so keep doing what they do. You keep doing what you do. What you doing? What you doing? Nick Rich, what's trending other than Don Old's Dance Fest? I don't know, but don't we just keep saying over and over and over again that if any Democrat did the shit that Trump does, they would be out of politics permanently and forever. The media would drum them right out. I mean, look at poor Howard Dean. All he did was do a very exuberant yell when he won like a Super Tuesday or whatever the fuck it was. Or he won a bunch of primaries, right? And after that scream of exuberance and happiness and joy, he was gone. He didn't make it to the next primary, I don't think. He was out because they fucking pilloried him. They pilloried that poor guy. Because of a yell where he was screaming and he was about being exuberant about winning primaries. That's all it took to get that Democrat out. Donald Trump can sit on a stage and listen to music and sway back and forth, and it's completely fine. It's completely okay. If Joe Biden did that when he was running, that would have been enough right there. I mean, we would have never heard the end of it. I know, and we are hearing a lot of it now, but it's not doing anything to like change people's minds about voting for him. I just had a passenger the other night where this woman they came from a Laker game. They had been kind of maybe drinking. It was her and I think her husband or boyfriend, and there was another person in the car. It might have been her daughter. I don't know, because she was like an adult, so I don't know. But anyhow, she was kind of this loud, semi-obnoxious kind of person, but she was okay. I mean, and it was about a probably 15 or 20-minute ride to their house. So there was a long time, and she was just going on and on about it wasn't politics. She was talking about, I don't know, just all kinds of stuff about her family, kind of personal stuff about her family, and just kind of rambling. And I'm just driving, and and there's like 4 people in the car, and she's talking to them mainly. But as we were almost to the house, to just a couple minutes away, and then somehow I think she was talking about one of her other daughters, and I don't know if her daughter was voting for Kamala Harris or something, and she seemed to be really opposed to that. This woman that was in the car talking, and then all of a sudden she just asked me. She goes, "What about you, driver? Are you voting for Trump?" She just point blank asked me if I'm voting for Trump. So I'm like, okay, I gotta, I don't like to talk politics. This is not what I said, but I'm saying this to you guys. I really don't like talking politics in the car, as a Uber driver. I like to stay neutral as much as possible. But if someone asks me a question like that, or brings up things and they want to talk about it, then I'll talk. I'll engage, and I try to keep everything as civil as possible. I don't want any trouble in the car, all that kind of stuff. So she says, "So what about you, driver? Let me ask you, are you going to vote for Trump?" And I just said, "Nope." She goes, "You're voting for Kamala Harris?" I go, "Yep." And she goes, "Well," she goes, "Can I ask you why? Why are you voting for Kamala Harris?" And now we're like right around the corner from her house, and so it's really hard for me to get into a whole big thing, like of all the reasons, the policy positions, and all that. So I just kept it kind of short, and it might not have been the greatest answer, but because it almost sounds like I'm not really into Kamala Harris, and I am into her, and I mean that like I'm into her as in I think she's a great. She's going to make a great president. I'm into her like that. But here's what I said. I just go because I'm a lifelong Democrat. I've never voted for a Republican in my life, and I'm not going to start now. So she has my vote. And I think that's something like that. That's what I said. And she just goes, the lady in the back goes, okay, I respect that. You're a lifelong Democrat, so I get that. Okay, that's cool, or something like that, And then she started going off about how she's a Mexican, and she was living in the Bay Area in California, and that she has family members. It was either family members or friends or close friends or something that were in the Sinaloa cartel, like Sinaloa, like from like Colombia or whatever the fuck Sinaloa is, somewhere in South America, right? That she personally knew people in the if I'm saying it right, Sinaloan cartel. That when Kamala Harris was, now I forget if she was saying when Harris was either this AG or if she was just a prosecutor or if she was the state AG or if she was a prosecutor or whatever it was, but she said Kamala Harris just let these two cartel members walk, or she just let them free, let them go. And so that's why she's saying like people don't know Kamala Harris is like a fraud or something like that. And we're practically pulling up to the house, so I don't have time to debate this woman. But I just go, well, I know she was known as being a pretty good prosecutor, a fierce prosecutor, and she's like, no, she wasn't, like that. And then I pulled up to the house. I'm like, okay, well, here you are. I hope you have a nice night, and I think I said something like, well, we'll see who wins. And she goes, yeah, we will. And I go, yeah, it's getting close. We're almost there, so we're almost to voting day. She's like, yeah, it's close. And she misunderstood. She's like, yeah, it's close. Like I was saying, it was a close race. I was just saying that the voting day is getting clearer. But anyhow, and they were cool. I mean, they it wasn't hostile. It wasn't, maybe I'm making it sound a little more hostile than it was or whatever. But I mean, it was all pretty civil. And I think we all, everyone left. I didn't get a bad rating or anything like that, So I think we were cool. I think everything was cool, but this is the kind of thing we're up against. If I had more time to talk to that woman, maybe I would have said, "Do you know that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and he was found in a civil court to be liable for sexually assaulting a woman in a changing room in a store?" And the judge said that. Actually said that was rape. And you want to quibble about maybe that there was a case where maybe there was some two cartel members that you know of that were let off, and I don't even know the details of that case. Who knows if that's even true in the first place? And if it was true, that there could be a whole myriad of reasons why. Maybe there was a technicality, some sort of technicality that things weren't admissible. They had to maybe they had to let him off. Maybe there was a plea deal. Maybe they fucking snitched. Maybe those guys were snitches and they got some sort of deal. I don't know. Who knows? And who gives a fuck? She's going against a fucking 34-time convicted rape felon, and he's probably raped at least 34 women. But he's found liable in civil court against Eugene Carroll. He's a traitor. He was found with top secret documents in his shitter at his fucking shitty fucking resort or whatever the fuck that thing's called in Mar-a-Lago. I mean, he's going to be found guilty of trying to interfere with an election. I mean, all of these things, and you want to quibble about because you knew two guys that were supposedly in a cartel and that they supposedly walked or didn't get convicted when she was the AG, or I'm not sure exactly when this was. If she was just an attorney, if she was the the DA, or she was the AG, I don't know. But that's why you're voting for Trump, because of that. And yet you've got a whole fucking mountain of fucking shit that Donald Trump is guilty of. And you're going to sit there and support Donald Trump. And it's not like you're saying, well, I'm not going to vote. They're both shitty. I just can't bring myself to vote for either one of them. No, it's like full-throated support for Donald Trump. She was back there, saying how her words were, I am a Trump supporter. And this was a Hispanic woman that Donald Trump does not give two fucking shits about Hispanics or anyone of color. He will try to pander to you in a way, however he can, but he doesn't give a shit about you. And that's what we're up against. And that's why when we think, why the fuck is it so close? Well, this is it. This is another example of a passenger that I had that is a Trump supporter. They just don't give a shit about felonies, being a traitor, about raping women. Apparently, they don't give a shit about that. But they do seem to care about, there were a couple of these guys that didn't get convicted that this woman thinks should have been convicted. And without any details of why, of what that was going on. It's just crazy. It's crazy and it's frustrating. So make sure you guys vote. Vote for Kamala Harris. Pretty please with sugar on top. Let me go back a little bit in the chat. I'm just scanning to see if there's anything interesting, anything noteworthy that I should bring up. Okay, let's see here. The whole thing this is where it got me on that tangent. What Nick said, is there anything other? I think this one is what's trending other than Donald's Dance Fest, and that set me off on that whole thing there. So there we go. And I'm just going to skip back down again. William's here. In case I missed anybody here, we got William over here. Thanks for being here. And Robert Perez says, everyone who can please register to vote this November and be smart about your choice, because vote blue for all that is dear to you. Trademark Trucker John. Thank you, Robert Perez, for that reminder. Yeah, if you can still register, I know in Nevada they have same-day registration, so we can register here all the way up to voting day. But don't let that be some excuse to not register. Make sure you register. Make sure you can vote. We need to rid ourselves of Donald Trump. He needs to lose this election, and he needs to lose badly, and then he needs to go to prison for whatever miserable time he has left of his miserable life on this planet. See, Jolie says, you forgot to say, see, I'm trying to, I did it for him, Jolie. MJ Daniels, since you asked, fuck no. Yeah, I didn't say fuck no, but I just said whatever I told you I said. Mr. Spock, you have a customer, so I say, I don't know, I'm Republican, but you're trying to get a tip. No, I don't do that shit, Mr. Spock. If someone asks me a question like that, I'm just going to be honest about it. But like I say, be civil and I think everyone I've ever had any conversation of politics in that car as a Uber driver, I think we've all it's always been respectful. Unlike on this live stream where I can get pretty disrespectful sometimes. It's not like that in the car. Jupiter Judy, oh what? Oh wow, for you, a cartel, they got what they deserved. But when she was saying that these two members were not prosecuted. I guess she was trying to make the argument that Kamala Harris was a lousy attorney because these two members that she said she personally knew that were in this cartel, they I forget the exact term she said. I don't know if she said they were let off or they got off but they weren't prosecuted to her satisfaction. They completely went free. So that's what she was. If Kamala Harris had convicted those two, then she wouldn't have that argument. I mean, she couldn't say then that Kamala Harris was a bad attorney or whatever. Or some sort of, I don't know if she was trying to imply that she was some sort of a sellout or just a bad attorney. I don't know. But I don't really care because to me it's like a moot point. I mean, unless I know those cases and I can look at the in some detail what went on in those cases, and it doesn't fucking matter to me because it's bullshit. Like I said, there could be a whole fucking 1,000 different reasons why those two cartel members didn't get prosecuted. When we are a nation of laws, and there's a lot of laws, and sometimes people get they get their cases thrown out because of some technicality or something. So I don't know what it was, but I do know that Donald Trump's a fucking felon, and I do know that he's a fucking rapist, and I do know that he's a fucking traitor, and I do know that he's a fucking insurrectionist, and I do know that he fucking wants to be a dictator, and I do know that he wants to destroy the Constitution. I know all that shit about Donald Trump. So that's enough for me. This one little thing about when she was an attorney in California, and maybe there was a couple of cartel members that didn't get prosecuted. I don't give a fuck about that because I know that overall, just generally speaking, she was busting those dudes and she was convicting those dudes. Yeah, MJ Daniels says that story sounds like GOP bullshit to me. She was a tough prosecutor. Yeah, she's just talk about. People always accuse me. The right wingers will always come onto my videos and they will leave remarks right in the comments saying that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm the one drinking the Kool-Aid. No, all I do is I drink this shitty coffee. But when they repeat stories like that, like you're talking about, like about this prosecutor thing, well, she says that she knew the people personally, but whatever. Yeah, that's drinking the Kool-Aid to me. Mike H., did you see the interview last night? The Brett Baer one? I did not. I did not watch it. I was watching Dodger baseball. Dodgers won 8-0 last night. But I did see some clips that was it Stephanie Miller or somebody was playing. Or no, I guess I just saw clips on like Substack or something. Or Threads, and where Brett Baer was trying to interview her, and at one point, at least in this clip, Kamala Harris was having none of it. She was like, "Let me answer the question. I'm answering the question. You need to shut the fuck up." She didn't say that, but that's what she was thinking. Carol Alana. Hey, Carol Alana, good to see you, by the way. Thanks for being here. It says Kamala prosecuted the Sinaloa and other cartel, and yeah, she sounds BS to me. Yeah. And this woman that I picked up. Okay, here's another little story about that woman, that passenger. Okay, so where I had just dropped off some people, and this place is on the Strip. Maybe I won't say the actual name because I don't know. If passengers like me telling the story, there's I don't know. So we'll keep it somewhat secret, I guess. But it's on the Strip, and at the drop off, you can drop off the people at the front door, at the front entrance. But then for the rideshare pickup area, you drive around. It's just a short little thing. You drive around to the other side and to the back side of that entrance, and that's where the rideshare area is. So I dropped off these people at the front, and as I was going to the back, you kind of go, and there's like a stop sign, and there's like a crosswalk, because right on the other side of the street is T-Mobile Arena, and that's where there was a basketball game that night. The Lakers and Golden State was playing. And anyhow, at the crosswalk, right in front of me was a taxi cab. And the taxi cab, to me, it looked like he had stopped and he was waiting for the passengers to walk by. But I saw this couple, and I saw this woman. They were in the crosswalk, and as she was walking, I could see she was yelling at the taxi driver, and then she started pounding on the hood of the car and yelling at the taxi driver. And I knew that I knew the name of my next passenger was a female name. And I go, and I could see that they were walking to the back to where the rideshare pickup area is. And I just go, I shook my head. And I go, I know that's the person I'm picking up. I bet. I go, I'm kind of talking to myself like, what do you want to bet? That's the person that I'm picking up next. And sure enough, that was the person, because then they were walking. I end up going around. I go to my little parking spot where I'm supposed to go, and then all of a sudden, the people getting in, I look, and it's that same couple, and plus there was a third person I hadn't seen before, but and it was them, and I just was just sort of like, I was kind of like smiling to myself and laughing, and I go, yep, it was that was the one. And she obviously had been. She wasn't like drunk. Maybe she's not drunk. Maybe that's just the way she was. But she was very, right from the get-go, very kind of loud. I would say semi-obnoxious, not totally obnoxious, but just sort of semi-obnoxious. And I think she was still talking shit about the taxi driver, who she thought apparently didn't give him enough room at the crosswalk or something. I don't know. So that's the kind of people sometimes you deal with. But it was not that big of a deal. But I thought it was just funny how I saw this woman. I didn't know who she was, and I saw her acting out like that, and I'm like, you know what? I bet you that's the person I'm picking up, and sure enough, it was. All right. Keith Lee says that Kamala was a badass on Fox. So I'm gonna have to watch more of that, because I did see a couple clips and I thought it did look pretty badass. MJ Daniel, funny how Republicans are trying to say Kamala let dangerous criminals free, yet she was too tough at the same time, which is it, idiots. Yeah, they can't make up their minds. Cian says, these last days I'm starting to dream about your election. The info in my head for the last 10 years is getting me horror dreams. So it may be I will stop when I know we are safe with Harris. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it will. Carol Alana says, just lost best friend who started in on me. They're both the same. Kamala is dumb and silly. Not going to vote. Tried calmly to review her resume. Friend wouldn't listen, interrupted, then hung up. I know that's sad when we lose friendships over this shit. But what are you gonna do? You're just trying to tell them the truth. They don't want to listen for some reason. They don't want to listen to anything that, I guess, interferes with the way they see Trump or something. For some reason, some of these people, they think Trump is like a god. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. When I see Trump, I see all I think about is him just sitting there shitting his diaper, and how the stench must be so horrible to be around that motherfucker. That's what I think about when I see that motherfucker. All right, so just skipping down a little bit here. Hey, we got Left-Handed Jedi in the chat. Good to see you. Afternoon, technically 8 minutes after. So I'm about 12 minutes behind the chat there. Tamara Price says, those who are through and through Republican will continue to vote that way. It's a fact that might upset TJ in the chat. Can't argue with those folks. Heads are buried. Yeah, that's true. But this woman knows, I mean, they're a middle-class family, middle-class people. She's Hispanic. I don't think the Republicans are really going to be doing them any favors, but they don't see it that way. And I do think we do see a lot of, at least, some of the names we've seen that are defecting, big Republicans. So maybe that will translate in some of the normal average people defecting, maybe. Hey, Bella150 is here. Good to see Bella150. Says this is who they are, and Trump is the X-ray of their soul. Yeah, really exposing what a lot of these folks are really all about. Bella150, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Hey, Jose Barrios is here. Jose says, if it weren't for inflation, the race wouldn't be as close as it is, even though he's been handed millions of dollars, gone bankrupt numerous times, pays little to no taxes, and gets foreign money. And the thing about inflation is that we're down to 2.4%. Which is pretty good. Despite where, it's getting down to where the economists say it's best to have it around 2.1 or whatever. I think the last I heard we're at 2.4. Now it did spike after COVID to 9.1%. That's what Joe Biden inherited, or that's what it jumped up to, right? We had that spike supply was a supply chain shock and all that kind of shit. And God damn it, took it from 9.1 down to 2.4 in just a couple of years, 2-3 years. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They just want to talk about apparently eggs being expensive and bacon. And yeah, eggs and bacon are expensive. Everything's expensive. They'll talk about gas prices. Maybe blame OPEC, I don't know, for gas prices, or the big gas company. Maybe blame the farmers for raising the prices. Maybe blame supermarkets for price gouging. I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. I'm just spitballing, man. I'm just spitballing. Hey, Michael McAndrews is here. Good to see Michael. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Michael says, is Dumpy Stump in prison yet? Not yet, but he will be. Oh, he will be. Seha says, here is Clivel. If Trump wins and turns U.S. military troops against Americans on American soil, he is an instant traitor, and we know what happens to traitors. Well, he's already a traitor. He's already, I'm certain of it, given top secret stuff to Putin. And just the fact that, he caused an insurrection, he tried to interfere with the election in Georgia, all that kind of stuff. In my book, he's already a traitor. I'm just skipping on down a little bit here. MJ Daniel, DJT did try to use the military on civilians. Many soldiers would resist, and it would lead to chaos. Yeah, I think that who knows, but I have confidence, high confidence. I think that an overwhelming majority of our U.S. military, I think, would refuse to just. Although, I mean, you never know the amount of what they would be told, why they were doing what they're doing. I mean, if they believed it was if they believed that they were shooting on rebels or something, I don't. Yeah, it's the whole thing is just kind of mind-boggling and kind of scary to think about. But I have faith that our military wouldn't do that, or at least the majority of it wouldn't do that. But I hope I'm right about that. I'm just looking down here a little bit. Here's Kitty K. Hey, Kitty K, good to see you. Thanks for being here in the chat. Kitty K says, DJT always gets off there, won't ever get every criminal ever. Not even Trump did during his term. You can't throw out the good for the perfect. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good or something like that. How's that go? But yeah, I get it. Thanks, Kitty K, for being here, by the way. Azolda Zim's here. Hey, Azolda, thank you for being here. Thanks for checking us out. Azolda says, hey, all, I don't have long, just saying hi. Well, unfortunately, then you might be gone already. I read this a little late, but just know that I'm saying hello to you. I'm sending out a mental message through the Force to say thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by. James Williams is here. Good to see James. Let's see. Who else is here? Okay, so maybe I should talk about my is it saga? Yeah, saga. Not saga. Is it saga or saga? Saga. MAGA. I don't know. Because I do say MAGA. I don't say MAGA. I say MAGA. But for saga, I think I say saga. Isn't it weird how we do that kind of stuff? Hey, Jerul 39I is here. Vote blue no matter who. Thanks, Jerul 39I. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. That'd be really awesome if you did that for me. Perez, vote Dodger Blue for all this near to you. Trademark trucker. Well, actually, I couldn't say trademark for that one because the Dodger Blue really isn't part of my trademark. But I do appreciate the sentiment. Go Dodgers. They won. They're up 2-1 in the NLCS. Hopefully they will continue to win and be in the World Series. Nothing against Mets fans, but we all have our teams. Okay, so here's the car saga that's been going on. This has been going on for a while now. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I've been driving for Uber for over a year and a half, and I've been renting the vehicles. Right now, I don't even have a car. I sold my truck. I sold my car. like over a year ago, and I've just been renting these cars through Uber because you can use them for personal use. You can use them for, of course, for Ubering. And I've been doing that for over a year and a half. And what they do is you can go through rental companies, and the one that I've been using is Hertz. That's the one. That's the main one everyone uses here is Hertz. And so they have it set up with Uber that you rent there. It's already, the cars are all pre-approved, and as soon as you rent it, it's in the system on the Uber app, and you're ready to go. Okay, so probably over a week and a half ago, or something, maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. I saw this like suspicious or charge that I didn't recognize on my debit card from my bank, right? On the app. And it was only $39. I don't even know what it was. I still to this day I don't know what it was. So I called customer service and I said, "Hey, I don't recognize this charge. Can you guys like take it off? Because I don't know what it is." And so then the guy looked it up and he goes, and I forget the name of the company. He said that, he described it. It said it was like for some sort of marriage counseling or something. And I'm like, marriage counseling? I go, I'm not married, and I haven't been married for like 20 years. I didn't do any online marriage counseling or whatever it is. I didn't. He goes, well, so do you want? He goes, all right, so you didn't make this purchase? I go, no, I didn't do that. So then the guy goes, okay, I'm going to shut down your card, and then he just did it. He like deactivated my debit card, and then I'm going, did you just did that? He goes, yeah. I go, you didn't ask me if I wanted to do that. And he goes, well, you said that there was a charge that you didn't authorize, so that's what we do. We deactivate your card. And I'm like, okay, but I think I got some stuff I got to do first. And so he was like, okay, you can do one more charge, and then it's gonna shut off, or one more. You can do one more transaction. So I think what I did is I just ran down to the ATM machine and I withdrew a bunch of cash because I forgot I needed to do something, or maybe it was shopping. I don't know what it was, but I needed some cash or I needed some money, and I couldn't use my card because what he did is he shut the card down, and then they mail you out a new one, and it took like a week or more for the new one to get here and everything. So, so then my card is deactivated, right? And that's the card that I had on file with Hertz, because every week, if you want to keep the car, it just automatically would renew, right? It automatically charges your account, and then you got the car for another week. Well, so he deactivated the card, and then I'm just going about my business. I'm just working and driving and doing my thing, and I didn't even. It didn't even, it was like out of sight, out of mind. I didn't even think about the card being deactivated and that my auto renewal thing was hooked up to it. I just completely didn't think about that. So then it comes. So I guess it was not this Monday, but last Monday. The card is deactivated, and I don't have my new card, and so the renewal didn't go through. And they notify you on email or something, but I didn't even notice it until I think Wednesday, and I was like, oh shit, this thing didn't go through, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I called them, and I already knew the answer because they've always said that if you're ever going to change your payment method, you have to go into the office. They can't do it over the phone. But I called anyhow, and there was a customer service number for Hertz, and I said, hey, look, this didn't go through. My old card got deactivated, and I've got a new card. And they said, well, you have to go down to the office. And I was like, all right. So I think Thursday I blew it off. I think I was doing the shows, and I was doing the thing, so I go in on Friday. This is like last Friday. And this office, this Hertz thing, I hate going down there. Everyone hates going down there because you're going to be there for hours and hours and hours because you've got like a few dozen, a couple dozen like Uber drivers are always in there to get things done. picking up cards, making payments, do whatever issues they have, and they have like 2 clerks, and you will literally sit there. I've actually sat there before for like 8 hours. Now, Friday when I went in, I was in there for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and they were about ready to close, and they still hadn't seen me. And the guy goes, hey, he goes, what are you here for? And I go, I'm just trying to renew. I have to change my payment method because it didn't go through because I changed cards and stuff like that. He goes, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to do that today because we're almost done. We're almost closing. So just come back Monday and you'll be okay. I'm like, all right. So I came in Monday, and that was just this Monday of this week. I go in, and now there's a completely different person. The person that I usually talk to, he wasn't there for some reason. And then another person, actually, well, it was another lady who used to be in the other office. She was in there, I think, covering for him. So anyway, I go in there. I'm waiting for like 3 hours. She finally takes me in, and I tell her the situation. Yeah, I'm just here. I got to make a payment, and I got to change the payment method. And then she's like, so she's looking at she's on her computer, and she's looking at the car, and she goes, oh, you have to do an EV check. And I'm like, I did one when I first got the car. And she looks back and goes, she's like, oh yeah, that was in June. That was back in June. And the car was only at 57,000 miles, and now you're at like 73,000 miles. So you need to you have to do another EV check, or it won't go through. They won't let me update anything or take any payment until that's done. And so by this time, it was Monday. It was late afternoon. It was like almost 4 o'clock. They close at 4 o'clock, the Hertz office. And so I was like, she was like, so just do your EV check, come back tomorrow, and you should be okay. And I was like, all right. So I leave. I'm driving all over because it's like Pep Boys, Meineke, Firestone, America's Tire, all these places, they do these EV checks for Hertz. And it's basically, they just check the car out. It takes them like 5 minutes to do it, or a few minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. It's no big deal. They do an inspection on it. And then and then they let Hertz know that everything's okay or whatever, right? The car, that they have to have some system that they know the cars are still in good running order and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I go out and I went to all these places. I drove all up and down the valley here, the Vegas Valley, and no one could get me in that day. I wanted to try to get in that day. All they could do was make an appointment for the next day, for Tuesday. So finally, on like the 5th place I went to, and they said the same thing. We can't get you in today. And so I said, okay, what about tomorrow? And he said, yeah, we open tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. And what time do you want to come in? I go, I'll be here at 7:30 a.m. He's like, okay, great. So the next day, this past Tuesday, I go in. I'm there at 7:30. I was there before, and they have to have a special tech to do these EV inspections, which is ridiculous because all they do is like a walk around and look at the thing. But anyhow, the tech wasn't there for an hour. Finally, the guy does it. It takes him, I don't know why, for some reason, it took another hour before the guy says, okay, it was done. And then he's trying to log it into the system. They have a computer. Everything's on computers these days, right? And there's a certain thing that from Meineke to Hertz on the computer where they send the inspection form to Hertz to let them know that it was done, let them know the car passed. But for some reason, he couldn't find the button to click that sends it to Hertz. And he was on the phone. I give the guy credit. He was talking to his boss, and he was talking to some other person, and they were going into his computer like remotely, trying to show him where it was at. It wasn't there. They couldn't find it. They were calling other offices, I guess. Eventually, he just said, "Look, apparently there's a system-wide problem here where this isn't on our." On the forum here, on our page here, on whatever, and we're getting it fixed, and it should be fixed sometime today. And so I was like, okay, let me know. So he took he had my contact information. He said, I'll let you know as soon as as soon as it's working and up and running, and we'll have it sent to Hertz. Because Hertz would not renew my contract and update my payment information until this was done. So this was very important. So I went ahead and I went home, and I'm always checking my emails and my voicemails like every 5 seconds, or not 5 seconds, but see them every few minutes, because I really wanted to get this done. And then finally, it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. The guy, I hadn't got any messages, so I called him, and I called his office. I said, "Yeah, this is John. I was in the Tesla this morning for that EV check, and you said you were going to tell me when it got sent over to Hertz." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we did that. It's already been done." And he goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't get back to you," or whatever. And I was like, "Oh shit. Okay, well, thanks." So then I get in touch with Hertz, and the way you do it with Hertz, you can't call anyone on the phone. You have to use this little sign-in form, and you fill it out, and it goes to them, and then that puts you in an email queue. And so then, and I just wrote on there what the reason was, and I said, "Yeah, I was just waiting for the EV check to go through, and apparently it just finally went through, and so do you want me to come in today?" Because I knew they close at 4:00, and it was already like 3:30, and I'm with traffic. I'm at least 20 minutes away. And by the time they responded to me, it was like 3:45, and they said, "Here's what they said." They said a repo notice has been put on your car, and a repo team is out looking for your car. And then I just said, "Okay, I'm coming down to the office right now." It was 3:45, and I'm at least 20 minutes away. And they close at 4. So I said, "Fuck it." I got in the car. I drove down there. I got there probably at 5 or 10 after 4. But the door was still open. So I go inside, and no one's there, but there's still this one guy that works there, but there's no drivers or anything. It was all emptied out. Actually, there was a couple of Hertz employees there. And I go, "Hey, look, I'm John Fowler. I was here earlier. I was here yesterday. It's about the EV renewal." He goes, he just kept saying, "We're closed. We're closed." And I go, "Okay, I understand you're closed, but," and I showed him the text, because the people, whoever writes those texts, it could be, I guess, it might not necessarily be even anyone in that office. So anyway, I showed the guy the text. I go, "Look, they said there's a repo notice on this." I go, "I was trying to get this done, and it hurt. Meineke didn't send it in, and blah blah blah." And he just goes, "Well, yeah." He goes, "I'm sorry, I can't help it. We're closed." He just kept saying, "We're closed," And I'm just like, "Okay, well, am I going to have to worry about, I don't know, I walk outside and the car's gone?" And he goes, "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you anything," or whatever. And so they wouldn't take the car. I had the car. I go, "Well, the car's here. You can take the car. You want it?" And he's like, "We're closed." That was his response to almost everything. "We're closed." He goes, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. We're closed. I can't do anything after 4:00." He says, "We can't do anything." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll take the car back and to my apartment and see what happens." And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "And if the car's still here, I'll be back tomorrow." And he goes, "Okay, see you tomorrow." And so I went ahead and went home, and I went ahead. I drove Uber that night. I guess that was Tuesday night. I went home. I parked the car, and I was like, "Well, we'll see if the car's still there in the morning when I get up. I don't know." And I went ahead. I got up early because I wanted to get to the office. The office doesn't open until 8. That Hertz office. No, wait. It opens at no. It doesn't open until 9. That's right. It doesn't open until 9. So anyhow, I get up. I go outside. The car's still there. It hadn't been repoed. And I get in the car. I drive over there. I got there before 9:00. There was just me and like another person was waiting to get in. Actually, the door was open, but I just stayed outside because I was like, "I'm not going in until exactly 9," because apparently they're very strict about these things. And actually, the person I was waiting for, she said she had gone in, and they told her to wait outside until 9:00. So yeah, we waited for like 10 minutes. At 9:00, we go inside, and So they got to me fairly quickly. I think I might have been the first one in the queue because you do everything online. Like you get yourself in this queue through a QR code. And so anyhow, I'm waiting, and then you can text on that little QR code, or that little when they send you a text, you can kind of text a message in there. And I told them, hey, I'm here. I got the car. I got the keys. Um, I'm here to either renew, or if you guys want the car, I got the keys. I'll give them to you, whatever. So finally, after like an hour, the guy came out and he said, yeah, there's no way to renew that car at this point. Once it has a repo notice on it, we can't renew. And so we're going to have to turn in the car, and then you'll have to make another appointment to come get another one if you want to get another one. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. When's a good time? And he goes, well, not today because we don't have any cars. And he said also, do not try it. Do not try to rent until you get your receipt sent to you through an email from Hertz, and making sure that all the balances are up to date and all to the good. Because if you come back and that's not settled, they will put you on a do not rent list. And they said you will never get off that list, and you will never be able to rent from Hertz ever again. So he says, so don't even try to come back, or don't try to make a reservation or anything until that is all cleared up. Because if you do, and you try to rent, and it's going to come up as a DNR, and he said you'll never get off that list. So that's where I'm at today. I did get the receipt, but then I was trying to call Hertz and try to talk to a live person to find out, okay, look, if I go in to rent, am I on a DNR list or not? Because it's not really clear. I have the receipt from my all the transactions and from my billing and everything. And the person I spoke to said, you need to speak to the billing department. I'm like, okay, can you transfer me to the billing department? And he's like, well, I'll give you the phone number. So then I called the phone number he gave me. It's just that runaround thing. The number he called, it doesn't say, hi, this is the billing department. It just says this is Hertz. They have all these different numbers you can push. And the bottom line on that is I never did speak to a real person. So at this point, after I do this live stream, I'm going to get back on the phone and try to talk to a live person, because I want to make sure that I'm not on this DNR list before I make another reservation. Now, what I did find out, and what I already knew, but on the Uber app, if you want to be the Uber driver app, not the Uber like rider app, but the Uber driver app. If you're an Uber driver, or if you're thinking about becoming an Uber driver, you can go on the Uber driver app, and it says need a vehicle, right? Like if you have a vehicle if you don't have a vehicle that would qualify to be used as a Uber car, this says you can click on that, and it says need a car, and they have these things where you can rent, and they have these things that lead you to dealerships to buy cars and all that kind of stuff, right? And that's how I first found out about renting in the first place. So I clicked on that again, and there is a list. It's not all just Hertz. They have these other apps. There's one called Drive Sally. There's one called, I think, Buggy. There's another one. I forget the other one. Those are kind of like weird ones or whatever. But I was thinking about utilizing. I think Drive Around is the other one. Drive Around, where you could just rent a car, and you go to it. They give you this thing where you can open it remotely on your phone, and then I guess the keys are inside. You can go rent it, drive around, take it back. There's all these kind of different options. So there are different options besides Hertz. And they also had Avis. And Avis is a pretty big company. And I've never gone through Avis, and I really haven't heard of anyone going through Avis, but I clicked on them, and they do have EVs for about the same price, maybe even a little cheaper than Hertz. And they had a picture of a Mach-E that you could rent. So I'm thinking about going over to Avis. I would love to try out the Mach-E. So I might do that. I might do that today. I might make an appointment to go over to. The only thing about it, it's way out in Henderson. I got to Uber out because I don't have a car. So I got to Uber all the way to fucking Henderson. That's, who knows, let's say a $20 ride or something. But I would love to go check out that. If I can get a Mach E through Avis, that'd be pretty sweet. I think, just to try it out, because I've been looking for the Mach E's. I mean, just not. I haven't been looking at them like shopping or going to dealerships or anything like that, but just seeing them drive around town. There's quite a few of them. In fact, some of the cab companies are using Mach E's, and then just seeing personal vehicles around. I think I'm starting to like that Mach E. So I would love to try that out. So I might do that. I think I'm going to try to make an appointment with Avis, and maybe I'll be doing the Mach E. Now, and then I don't know if you guys go on Facebook, but I've been seeing a lot of ads. You know, it's an algorithm thing. So I guess they know that I'm sort of into EVs or stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of ads for Rivian. That's an EV. That's an EV company. Lucid, another EV car, and others, Ford and Chevy. They have EVs, and they've been doing these things where you can click on to do a test drive. Now I did so for Rivian. I did a few days ago. I clicked on it and I made an appointment to do a Rivian test drive for today. But then I went ahead and canceled it once I found out I might not have a car to get there, and I don't want to Uber there, and I'm doing these shows and stuff, so I went ahead and canceled that. But at some point, I might do a test drive of a Rivian. I might make a video of that. That'd be pretty awesome. And even the Lucid, I clicked on Lucid. The closest Lucid was like LA, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to drive to LA just to do a test drive. But Rivian has one here in, I think it was Henderson also, or somewhere here in the Vegas Valley. So anyhow, so that's my saga. My saga. That's my saga. I guess it's a saga. We say saga. We don't say saga. But we don't say MAGA. We say MAGA. So, yeah, I'm confused. So that's the saga. No, the saga. That's the saga. Now I'm confused. Going on with my car situation, and all that good stuff. But I was just kind of looking at the chat. I know I'm not even going to try to get caught up, guys. So I just want to thank everyone for being in the chat, for hanging out, and putting up with my saga or saga. I don't know. And so that's where I'm at. So maybe out of all this, because it's been frustrating, because I know in retelling the story, it might not sound like that big of a deal, but it's kind of a big deal. I mean, I've been kind of spending a lot of hours in that fucking office, which I hate. I feel like I'm just sitting there wasting time, and I'd much rather just be sitting on my ass in my apartment here than sitting on my ass over there. And now I've lost the car. I've lost a day of income because of that. And by the time I get into another car, whether it's back with Hertz or with Avis or wherever, it might be 2 or 3 days of lost income. So that gets kind of frustrating. And it's more than frustrating. It gets it does cause a little anxiety, I guess you could say. It is anxiety inducing. Anxiety inducing, is that what it is? So, but and speaking of Slava Ukrainian, I saw Mad Mac is here. Hey, Mad Mac, good to see you. And I remember I was sitting in the office at Hertz the other day, and I was just thinking about how I'm kind of fucked, like with this car situation. I'm kind of fucked, and because they're not renewing it. I'm sitting here. I'm not making any money. I got bills coming up, bills that are due, and I'm just thinking in my head, okay, how is this affecting my bills? How late am I going to be on my bills, or am I going to be able to pay everything? And you can work yourself up into sort of a depression almost, and then I'm just like I'm not gonna do that. And I just started thinking, I started thinking about people in Gaza and people in Ukraine and just people all over the world that are going through some truly horrible fucking things. And I just thought, you know what? I've got it a billion times better than a lot of people in this world. And so don't sit here and feel sorry for yourself. You'll get through it. I'm going to get through this. This is causing me some anxiety, a little anxiety. I'm, about, I might be late on my fucking cable bill or whatever, or whatever. I might be a couple days late on the rent. I don't know. But I'll get through it. This is nothing like what people are going through in Ukraine and in Gaza and I don't know, Yemen or whatever. Whatever. I'm sure there's lots of shitty stuff. People crossing deserts to try to get to a better country are going through a lot more than I am right now. So I guess that does put things in perspective, I guess. Just putting things in perspective. Hey, there's Rob Glenn. Hey, Rob Glenn, it's good to see you. Rob says, will you be on an episode of Sin City Towing? That would have been that would have been interesting. That would have been made a good show, I guess. Yeah. Apparently, and this thing about the text that I received when they said that a repro crew is looking for the car. Hey, look, one time, and you only do this one time, I locked my key inside the Tesla. This was like over a year and a half ago, whatever. And since I'm a renter, the only way I can get in is through this little key they give you, a little card. I can't do because if you own the car or whatever, you can do it on your phone. You can set it up on your phone where you can unlock the car. You can set the temperature of the car. You can do all kinds of shit on your phone. But since I'm a renter, I can't do any of that shit. The only way I can get in is through that little key card thing. And I locked it in. And I got locked, and you can't get in there. I mean, even though, here's what the deal was. I think I had the trunk was up, and I was going to, I guess, take something out of the trunk or put something in the trunk. I forget now. And when I closed, and then I guess on the screen, you can hit the little lock button. So it'll lock the door. And I guess I hit the lock button. Because what I wanted it to do is when I closed the trunk, it would just lock the car up. When I was done with whatever I was doing in the trunk. I guess I was pulling out luggage or something. It was when I was, this is early on when I first got the Tesla. And I had luggage. I was either going to my truck or to a hotel. And so when I closed the door, it locks the doors, and then as soon as I close the trunk, it'll lock the trunk. So even though the trunk was up, as soon as I closed the doors were locked, and they weren't opening. And I was so I thought, well, maybe I can go in through the trunk, and the seats, how the seats go forward. But there was no way, there was no latch inside. They made it so that you cannot get in through the trunk. You cannot. There's no release latch from inside the trunk to push that seat forward. And because I tried, I tried. I crawled into the trunk and I couldn't do it. So the only way you could do that is if you had some sort of a battering ram or something, and you just destroyed the seat, I guess. But I wasn't going to do that. So, but I did have Hertz, all the Hertz numbers on my phone because I had my phone. Fortunately, I had my phone in my hand. I didn't leave the phone in the car, and I was able to call Hertz. And I called there because they have like a roadside thing, right? I guess I called the roadside thing. And I said, "Hey, look, I locked my car. I'm locked out of my car. I accidentally left the little key thing in there." And she was able to look up the car. I gave her the license plate number or the rental record number or whatever. She looked it right up. She said, "Yeah, I see you." And I'm going to remotely unlock your car. And I was like, awesome. And she did that. So within, 20 or 30 minutes of me trying to figure out how I can get back in the car and trying to figure out what to do, then I got on the phone with her. And within like a few minutes, she like popped open the door. And I was like, awesome. Thank you so much. So they can find you, especially nowadays, these cars. They know where you're at. They know where the fucking car is at. If and I knew this when they sent me that text. And they said a repo team or a repo whatever is looking for your car. My immediate thing is they could find my car in 2 seconds. It's all on their computers and it's all being tracked. It's all GPS tracked or whatever. They would have, and because I'm actually kind of thinking like, okay, where can I hide the car? Because I didn't want to have to Uber back to the Hertz office. I wanted to drive it back in, right? So I'm thinking, I don't want to wake up in the morning and come out and my car's gone. And I'm thinking, where could I hide my car? There's no place to hide it unless there's some place where there's bad GPS signal or I'm not maybe Rob Glenn would know how to block the GPS signal or whatever, but I don't know any of that shit. So I'm thinking I could not hide this car even if I wanted to. I didn't really want to hide the car, but I'm just thinking like if I wanted to hide the car like I didn't want it to be repoed, what could I do? And there's nothing you can do. They know where the car is. They can look it up in 2 seconds. So I kind of knew this was kind of bullshit when they said they're looking for the car. They could find my car in 2 seconds and they could come and get it, anytime they wanted. So just the simple fact that the car had been parked in the same spot for hours and hours and hours and no one ever came to get it, I was like, yeah, this sounds like horseshit to me because if they wanted it, there it is, and all they got to do is look up on their computer and they can see exactly where the car is at all times. But anyhow, so that's more of my saga. Carolina doesn't speak highly of Hertz. It is what it is. I don't really have any issues with Hertz other than, well, it is kind of weird. Like, you can't change the payment method over the phone. You have to do it in person. I don't know that maybe that's makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Mike H. All because your card had an unknown charge on it, right? And that's Mike H. Not for 1 second thinking I haven't been kicking myself in the ass when I should have just said $39. Okay, fuck it. But I was like, at the time, I'm like, I don't recognize this charge, and my card has been compromised. Is what I was worried about. So I guess it was a legitimate thing for me to call and have them look into it. But believe me, I was thinking, man, maybe I should have tried to find out more about that charge. Maybe I don't know. When the guy said it was something about marriage counseling, maybe he was full of shit. I mean, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. Maybe he just said, yeah, it looks like it's something about marriage counseling. That's not a very clear, concise description of the charge. So I don't know. But I was kind of second guessing myself on whether I should have even called about that. And if I hadn't done that, none of that shit would have happened. But like I say, the silver lining in all this is I might be driving a Mach-E. Mike H. The Mach-E is sporty. Yeah, I think they're kind of cool. At first, I really disliked them because it doesn't really look like a Mustang. It has the Mustang, it's a Mustang Mach-E. But I mean, there are, they tried to make it, the front end kind of has the Mustang look. The taillights have a Mustang look, but it just doesn't, it's too big and bulky. It doesn't look like what we would think of as a Mustang. So if you're a lot of Mustang people, they hate that car. They hate it just for that reason. And I kind of was like that. But the more and more I look at it, the more I go, "What? That's kind of cool." And I definitely would like to try it out. Hey, Mad Mac gifted 5 Trucker John memberships. Thanks, Mad Mac. Thank you so much. That's pretty awesome. And it looks like Andrew Petrie got one. CN got one. Carrie C. Pamela. Hey, Pamela got one. Donald Leary got one. Thank you, Mad Max. That's so nice of you. I do appreciate that. Penny 2 creates here. Penny says, TJ, what a frustrating saga. Best of luck working things up. Yeah, it'll all work out. It'll all work out. Like I said, there are people in the world going through, and you don't even have to go as extreme as Gaza or Ukrainian war. I mean, there are people even in this chat room who are, I'm sure, are going through worse things as far as like health problems or life issues. So I don't want to sound like a crybaby or whatever, but I'll just say it's been frustrating. It has been a bit of a mentally draining, I guess, type of a thing. But I'll get through it. And like I say, it's not like the end of the world or whatever. Nick Rich, no car to Uber with. Grab an instrument and busk. I know. I wish I had my guitar that I don't know how to play. That's another thing. I need to get my goddamn storage unit emptied out back in California because I want to start practicing my guitar that I don't know how to play. And I don't know how to play, but I do have a guitar, and I have taken I haven't taken lessons, but I've done like little just books and stuff on Someday I'm going to learn how to play that goddamn thing. James Williams says, I can only imagine the panic if Elon and company could just shut your internet and telephone access off at the flip of the switch. Well, they can. Well, you know what? Maybe they can't just shut your engine off. But, I mean, the technology exists, but legally they can't. Because that would be a safety hazard. They've had that ability to shut off 18-wheelers for a long time. Everything is hooked up to GPS, and they have computers in the engines, and they've had the ability to shut off 18-wheelers. Because I heard about people talking about this 10, 15 years ago, and the DOT was. I heard a DOT officer talking about it, saying how we could shut you off anytime we want. And that's what he said. But he goes, but legally we can't do it. Now maybe he was just talking shit because people talk shit. But he said legally we can't do it because if you're an 18-wheeler and you're going 65 miles an hour down an interstate, and we just shut your engine off, you could cause a lot of damage and kill a lot of people or whatever. So the technology is there. They can shut these cars off. But legally they can't do it. When it's moving. I guess they could do it if it was parked or something. Stephen Clark's here. Hey, Steve. By the way, thanks for being here. Stephen says, I hope I'm not on an enterprise DNR list. I rented a car. The windshield immediately developed a crack. I brought it back the next day. They made me pay $200 for repair. I paid, but I didn't pay admin fee. Well, I don't know. I guess you would have to try to rent a car and find out. I don't know. P to create TJ, things will work out. Yeah, things will work out. I know. Let's see. James Williams says, hello, Carrie C. I suspect America has a lot of things we don't know. Lots of secret things we don't know. I've been watching Prison Break, the old TV show, because I liked that show. I only got through about, I don't think I even saw almost the first two seasons. I think the last few episodes of season 2 I never even watched. I never finished, just because, not because I didn't like the show, but because life went on. I think that's when I started really getting on the road a lot, and I just never watched it. And so these last couple weeks or so, or whatever, week and a half, I've been kind of binge watching Prison Break, and now I'm already in I just started season 4 last night. And that show is all kind of about conspiracies and secret government shit. And so when you said that, it just reminded me of that, about things we don't know. But I just gotta say, it's a silly show. 99% of it I think is bullshit and would never happen in real life. But still, it's entertaining, and it's like my little guilty pleasure, I guess. I don't know. Josh is here, late but here. Hey, Josh, better late than never. Better late than never, my friend. Aaron West. Hey, Aaron West. Good. Hello, everyone. I just voted. Oh, awesome. Good job, Aaron. Good job doing your civic duty over there. Tim Farrell's here, one of our resident Tims. Hey, gang, multitasking, but listening. There you go. See, you can do that. You can listen and do other stuff at the same time. So thanks for doing that. Everyone's saying hi to everybody. Manus Kevin says, TJ, when we went to Maine, we went through Rocket. Oh, like Rocket. Is there a rent-a-car? Rocket? Rent-a-car? I don't know. Michael Managers park it in a swimming pool. Yeah, if I didn't want to get repoed, yeah. That's funny. Gina Maynard, wrap the Tesla in tin foil. You guys are funny. Richard Dunhill III is here. What is this stream about? This stream is about everything. Anything and everything. But thank you for being here, Richard. I've never seen you here before, so I just want to say hello. And I hope you like, subscribe, and share, and hang out with us. Hang out with us, and you'll find out. Because if you don't hang out with us, you're going to get a bad case of FOMO. That's right. Richard Dunhill III, I'm trying to understand why our country is so divided. Ha ha. Yeah, I don't know. Probably because of a lot of right wing propaganda. That's what I'm gonna hang it on. Aaron West says our country is divided because the orange Oompa Loompa won't go away. He's dangerous. And he's getting more and more dangerous as he gets more and more, where he's losing it, his mental acuity and his faculties more and more, and a lot of his minions hang on every word to the point where they're fucking saying they're going to hunt FEMA and they're going to stop FEMA from doing their job when people are going through, tragic events of these hurricanes, and FEMA's in there trying to help, and you've got these fucking lunatics that listen to Donald Trump arm themselves and say they're going to go hunt FEMA. That is a case. If anyone says, like Aaron says, he's dangerous, and someone else might say, "Oh, you're being hyperbolic." No, she's not being hyperbolic. Donald Trump is dangerous. We saw it on January 6th, and we've seen it over and over again. Every time he says something, then something happens. Richard Dunhill III. I was born in Vegas. Oh, awesome. Are you still living in Vegas, or did you move out? Just wondering. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Richard says they can manipulate storms, so yes, they can do almost anything. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the MTG theory right there. Or I don't even think for her it's not a theory. I guess she really believes that. Michael McAndrew says, I am really a good typesetter, but I only type with like 2 fingers. Alrighty. Well, there you go. MJ Daniel, I read a cybersecurity article a few years ago where they worked out a way to shut down cars with the OnStar system, I think. Yeah, they've had that ability to do that. But legally, they can't do it. If the car is moving, they're not supposed to be able to do that. I mean, they're not supposed to do that, but they do have the ability. So that's kind of scary because sometimes people break laws, Alrighty. What else is going on? Here? Nick Rich, time for more chicken vids? Is that a chicken? I'm not good at reading emojis. I don't even know what that is, but I'm not sure. Nick Rich 1111, yeah, 2 minutes behind. Mr. Spock talking about chickens, bright eyes. Oh, I guess he was talking about to Mr. Spock about more video. The Mr. Spock needs to make more videos about the chickens. Okay. Now I'm getting it. Gino Maynard says Christy Nome needs to take Donnie down to the old rock quarry. Oh, come on now, Gino. But when I was watching that town hall or whatever it was with Christy Nome and Trump, And I just kept thinking about, how Trump said, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating their pets. And yet here, sitting right next to him was Kristi Noem, who wrote in her book and has, with no shame whatsoever, talked about how she killed her dog. There's got to be some sort of double standard there, right? Josh says, I think Joe Manchin looks like an exotic chicken. Roxanne, doing well. Thanks for asking. Glad you're doing well. Nick Rich, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. Did someone make a song? Did someone put that into a song? They probably did. So anyhow, I don't know. Do you guys know Hal's schedule today? I don't know. He's been traveling. Usually today we would do a pre-show warm-up. Not sure if I'm going to do that today because I don't know what Hal's schedule is, or if we do go on for an afternoon show today, it might not be 3. Usually I go at 3 Pacific time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, because Hal usually does a 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm not sure what the schedule's like for Hal today because he said he was traveling and I don't know. So a good way to find out from me what I'm doing, right here on YouTube, there's a community tab. A lot of people seem to not use that or know about it. There's a community tab, and I usually post stuff. I'll usually post when I'm doing a show or if I'm not doing a show or whatever. And you can get information there. So check out the community tab. I also post on the socials, on Facebook, on Discord, on Threads is when I do. And I'll usually post if the show's coming on or if it's being late or if I'm going to cancel or whatever. So that's the way I get in touch with you guys. Discord, Facebook, Threads, and right here on the community tab. So if you guys don't get the message, I don't know how else to get in touch with you guys. So look out for those things. I'm not sure if we're doing a 3 p.m. today or not. It depends on when Hal's going on, I guess. But as I find out, I'll let you guys know. I will post something, and hopefully you guys will see it. And we'll do a little pre-show warm-up over there at some point, I guess. Excuse me. Non-Useful is here. Hey, Non-Useful, good to see you. Thanks for being here in the chat. Non-Useful says, Trump belongs in a mental ward. They will study his brain for years. Michael McAndrews, John, the best video on the inner tubes is the cat video by the Kiffness. Okay. Hey, Big Hook is here. I haven't seen Big Hook in a while. Thanks for dropping on by. Says, Hal said yesterday that he was back to regular schedule. Oh, okay. So if he's going to be on at 4, then I'll go on at 3. And we can hang out for an hour. So all you newbies, I think we got some newbies in the chat. We will come back on at 3 p.m. Pacific time for an hour and hang out. Midas Kevin says, did you hear the real story? The woman who started the rumor finally found her cat. Oh, yes, I did hear that. And she did seem to be sincerely sorry about never saying anything. And fucking JD Vance and Donald Trump, they will not stop repeating the lie about that. That's how despicable they are. And just think, man, if you're voting for Donald Trump to be president, there's a good chance you're voting for JD Vance to end up being president. God help us all. I mean, you think Trump's bad. I think Vance is even worse. Nick Rich, my Pixel has no memory card, 150 gigs for in the unit for me. Gino said, didn't Hal say he would do an extra impromptu show today? Well, that's what I thought too, Gino. I thought he was doing an extra to make up for the one he missed on, was it Monday or whatever? Or was it yesterday? I don't know. I can't keep the days straight. I've been in that stupid Hertz office all week. It seems like. Michael McAndrews, that was so cool seeing you on House Show. Thank you, Michael. And I had a great time doing that. I hope I get a chance to go on again and get better. I kind of, it was my first time on. I was a little nervous, Hopefully I can go back on and give Hal some of that old Trucker John charm. You know what I mean? I hope they'll have me back someday. But yeah, it was a good time. Good times. Mary T, what about ye, Trucker John? Hey, Mary T, our friend from Ireland. How's Ireland? Mary T from Ireland. Good to see you, Mary T. Thanks for being here. Hanging out with us for a bit. Big Hook says, hi, Canada. I don't know. I'm not good at that, but okay. Non-useful. If Vance becomes POTUS, no couch will be safe. And all kidding aside, if Vance becomes president, the couches won't be the only things that will be fucked. I'll just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. MJ Daniel says, yet they continue the lies. Vance needs to be asked why every time he does an interview and nothing but that. And he will never answer. But yeah, but they should still keep asking him. But you notice he never directly answers anything. Never. But just, I agree though, MJ. Just keep hounding him. Hounding him and pounding him. Minus Kevin Anderson with the full array of Sugar John emojis. I guess is what those are called. Nick Rich, 20 minutes past the hour. 20 minutes past the hour here. And by the way, we are finally cooling down a bit. It's only 77 degrees out right now, which is fucking delightful. Delightful. We've been at upper 90s and we were over hundreds and all that shit. And finally, it's cooling down. Finally. It's supposed to be a high of 84 today. I love that. I will take that any day of the week. Mary T, we're dead here in Ireland. You're dead in Ireland. Well, that's not good. That's not good, Mary T. Non-useful is laughing his fucking ass off. Minus Kevin and Mary T and me. Mike H, bring out the love seat. Non-useful. Cian wants to know what happened, Mary T. Mary T, how are you, Jolie? How are you, Jolie and Cian? Mary T, dead on, equal grand. Oh, we are dead on. We're dead on. That means it's a grand. They're having a grand old time in Ireland. They are. Well, that's good to hear that you're having a grand time. It's dead on. Nick Rich, 57 degrees Fahrenheit in Toronto. A little chilly. Might be sweater weather. You have some sweater weather over there. That's nice, though. Mary T, dead on. Michael McAndrews, everyone's giving us the temperature now. 62 in Michigan. And Josh says, finally warming back up here. Been below 40s and wet all week. Josh, where are you? I always forget, Josh. Where are you, Josh? Where you at, Josh? Michael, got my camper winterized. That's a good thing. Big Hook says, if Vance, then we will be under a heritage Peter Thiel, Elon Musk dystopian plot to turn America into their vision. Civil war revolt, most likely. Penny to Create says, and we have a frost advisory tomorrow here in Northeast Ohio. Wow. Stephen Sayers, 67, in Kansas City, Missouri. Aaron West says, there were these two college girls in front of me in the voting line that said, anyone older than 25 is just dead. Rude. That is rude. Josh says Central New York State between Rochester and Syracuse. Oh, okay, so central, upstate New York there, and you're in the 40s down there, huh? Up there, down there, all around there. Jolie, 60 degrees in Indiana. All right, birthday girl. Sayhouse says, I saw a toddler eat a cigarette on a cart of Keystone beer, was eyeing art supplies. Some dude named Tanner called me queer. I do not want to go to Walmart today. Yeah, that's not nice. You know. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go either. Nick Rich, I'll be bundling up to scoot down to the grocery store. Non-useful says armed group confronts FEMA workers in Carter County, Tennessee. Yep, I did mention something to that. I wasn't as specific as that, though. So thanks for that update there. Mr. Spock, 145 degrees Fahrenheit on Vulcan, perfect weather. There you go. A bit balmy. Dave H is here. Hey, Dave H. Good to see old Dave H. Thanks for being here, by the way. Not sure if I've seen Dave H before, so thanks for stopping on by and giving us an update on your weather. 64 degrees down the road from I-80 truck stop in Walcott. Walcott? Is that near the I-80 truck stop in Iowa? Or is Walcott, Indiana? I don't know. Update me up there. Stephen Sayer says, some people are just airheads. I can attest to that. Let's see. Josh says 50s today and sunny, so I'm happy. Well, I'm glad you're happy. Michael McAndrews, what is the best DAW? I don't know what a DAW is, by the way. Michael McAndrews, I bought Ableton, but I like Cubase. I don't know what any of those are. Mr. Spock, I bundle up going to the store on the moped this time of year. Oh, yeah. You get that wind chill factor going. Nick Rich, another hit to celebrate the 6th anniversary of legal cannabis in Canada. Oh, there you go. Gino Maynard says it's 68 in the San Joaquin Valley, which is pretty vague, since the San Joaquin Valley goes from approximately Bakersfield all the way up to, how far north does that go? Chico? I don't know. But whatever. But yeah, it's probably pretty much the same all the way through there, though. It sounds nice, though. 68 sounds good. I like 68. MJ Daniel, we have finally hit the normal fall weather here, 50s, 60s. Cloudy and wet until April. Well, there you go. Not sure where MJ was from. I forget. Sorry, MJ. Or is it? Who was in the San Joaquin Valley? Who did I just read that about? Oh, that was Gino. Okay, right above him. Okay. Dave H. Walcott, Iowa, the world's largest I-80 truck stop. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was the I-80 truck stop. I've been there a few times. Very nice truck stop. Got all kinds of everything you need right there. I mean, there's like a movie theater, and there's barber shop, and there's a chrome shop, and a big truck stop. There's restaurants. Great place for truckers. Oh, Michelangelo's digital audio workstation. Okay. Big Hook. I use Blue Voter Guide to maximize your ballot locally, state, local, federal. Okay, look, I have an issue with the Blue Voter Guide because I looked at it, the one that I saw. I think it's the same one, and there's a proposition here in Nevada, or they call it question. I think question 3. And I'm against it. And in the big Blue Voter Guide, I don't know how you're supposed to determine if the Blue Voter Guide is for it or against it. They did have they list the groups that are for it, and they list the groups that are against it. And but I am against it. I'm just going to say that. And I know that the Indivisible group that I usually agree with most of what they propose. The Nevada Indivisible group appears as though they're supporting Prop 3 or Question 3. And I believe that the Indivisible group is led by one person, and might only be the only person. I don't know. And because she always posts on Facebook, and she's been, because this Prop 3, they may be under different numbers, but it's been around since the last election. Or the last, I guess it was in the primary or whatever. And I voted no on it then, and I'm voting no on it now. And this person who is a Indivisible Nevada chapter, seems, I don't know if she's the head of it, but she always is posting on their Facebook group and is always associating herself with the Nevada Indivisible chapter. She's all for it. And the Voter Blue Guide thing, it seems like they're for it. I don't know, but I got to tell you, I'm against it. And I actually had a passenger the other day ask me about Proposition 3 and asked me what I thought about it. And I said, I'm against it. And they said, why? And I said, because basically what this is asking for open primaries. And I said, I'm against it because I think that the parties have a right to have their nominees be chosen by their own party members. I don't think a Republican or even an independent or a third party member has the right to come into my party's nominee process and vote for whoever they want. And, they don't have that fucking right, in my opinion. I think it's ridiculous. I think these jungle primaries are fucking horseshit. And California did it, and I didn't like it then, and I still don't like it. So I'm totally against it, and I think that the Voter Blue Guide thing is kind of misleading people, and I think the Nevada Indivisible group here is misleading people and is giving bad advice. So watch out for that Blue Guide because it's not 100%. Like I thought, okay, you go down there, this is stuff that you can trust. It's been vetted out by the Democratic Party. This is what we endorse. This is what we do. But seeing that there's some ambiguity there for that question 3 here in Nevada, where Indivisible groups, and the Indivisible is supposed to be sort of progressive Democratic stuff, and I've been a part of that. I've been following them since they started. It was Ezra Levin or whatever, and his wife, and I think they do great work, and I agree with them almost 99% of the time. But this Proposition 3 thing is horseshit. And so if there's anyone from Nevada that's listening to my words right now, just know that Trucker John does not endorse Prop 3. I'm saying vote no on 3. And don't believe this horse shit about these campaign commercials and ads or whatever that say that they try to say like people they're not able to exercise their right to vote. People aren't they're not able to how do they word it? basically they're saying people are being denied their voice. No, it's a primary. God damn it. It's a fucking primary. You can vote in the general. If you are not a registered Democrat or a registered Republican for that matter, or registered in a party, then you can vote in the goddamn general election all you fucking want. In the primary, the parties are selecting their nominee. So if you are a libertarian or a Green Party or a Republican, what the fuck gives you the right to think that you can come into my party's nomination process and try to upset that and put and throw it into chaos or whatever, or try to upset what the Democratic members want? You don't. So get the fuck out of my fucking primary. I'm a Democrat, and the only ones that should decide the Democratic nominee are the Democrats. So vote no on 3. If you're in Nevada and you're listening to me, no on 3. Also, vote for Kamala Harris. And when it comes to our Senate race, vote for Jackie Rosen. Sam Brown is a clown. Sam Brown is a fucking MAGA lunatic, fucking as MAGA as they come. And so that means he's against abortion rights. He's against, like here in Nevada, what's important here in Nevada? He's anti-union. This is a fucking union town. They're anti-union. They're scabs. These Republicans are scabs. They don't want to pay you higher wages. They will say stupid shit like, not that it's stupid, but they will try to pander to you by saying no tax on tips. Hey, that's fine. You want to tax tips? I don't think they should be taxed either. But at least Kamala Harris had the foresight to say, yeah, I agree with that, but we're talking about service industry people. We're talking about maids and wait staff and bartenders and bar servers or whatever. And we're talking about Uber drivers, I guess. We're not talking about, Elon Musk making some deal and saying, hey, don't pay me any salary, just give me a tip. And if you want to tip me $1 billion, fine. And then we'll name that as a tip. So Kamala Harris was smart in specifying what we're talking about when we're talking about tips. It's the people who get tips every day, like service industry people. All right, so that's my little spiel, I guess, on that. I guess you guys veered off into a conversation about certain beer. I've really turned into a Modelo fellow. I just made that up. A little Modelo fellow. I like the Modelo Negra. I really do like that. And even the regular Modelo, I guess. I'm really, for years and years and years, I guess I was like, I don't know. I drink a lot of different brands, but I like a Guinness. I like the what's that brown ale? What was that one called? But I'll drink an amber. I'll drink a lager. I'll pick myself back up again. Whatever. Mary T. Mary T. I'm not going to do this in the Irish accent. So I heard that by 8 p.m. election night, Pennsylvania poll will be called, and we should know then what way the wind is blowing. What do you think? I've heard it said that if whoever wins Pennsylvania is going to win the election. I don't know. I'm not an expert enough on the Electoral College and the breakdown of all that to say 100% that that's true. But I have heard I have heard a lot of people who do seem to be much more knowledgeable in that thing and that stuff say that. So we'll see. But just know this: I am a Modelo fellow. Mad Mac, just have to say they're Nazis if they are MAGAs. Michael McAndrew says we don't go for the con job from Nazis like Dumpy Stump. Dumpy Stump. Hey, Stephanie B2's here. Hello, Stephanie. Good to see you. So good to see you in the chat. Glad you're here joining us today. Hope that things are going well for you and with you. Seha says, oh shit, I'm leaving again. It's fucking Mad Mac. Mad Mac's been here for a while. Mad Mac says Negra Modelo is awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's a good beer. I think it's a good one. Non-useful says that Stormy was in the service industry. That new law would have been nice when Trump tipped her $130,000. And once you get down into actual writing of laws, I'm sure there would probably be some sort of stipulation of like some sort of limitations. Maybe and nothing against Stormy Daniels and I know we're just sort of shooting the shit here. I know this isn't, we're not locking stuff down here, but like if someone is saying that $130,000 is a tip, there might be some provision, some proviso that would limit the amount of the tip, like something that would be excessive, like 130 grand. That might be excessive tip. And so it might not qualify. Maybe only 10% of that would be qualified for the tip or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying. I guess the devil's in the details. I don't know. When we're talking about vague generalities of campaign promises of I will not tip. I will no tax on tips. Once it comes down to actually hammering out the law, there would be a lot of stuff that would have to get worked out. That's all I'm saying. 70B2 is still waiting for the surgery to get the pancreas removed. I know you've been going through that for a long time and waiting and doing all your preparations and stuff. And we're thinking about you and sending our good thoughts, good vibes to you to get that done. And we're thinking about you. Aaron's asking, can you live without your pancreas? I think so. Yeah. Says 70 says, yeah, Aaron was. I'm already a diabetic, but they do transplant your islet cells to help with the diabetes. I had pancreatitis a few years ago. I mean, sickest I think I've ever been. And I've told the story before about how I was on the road driving, and I started getting sick one day. And I remember I delivered a load. It was in Casa Grande, Arizona, or somewhere around there. And then I remember just trying to finish that load up and get parked because I was really not feeling very well. I was like getting really feverish and sweaty and nauseous, and I just wanted to park, and I'm going to park and I'm just going to lay down and I'll feel better in the morning. So I ended up parking somewhere. I was a truck stop or something, I don't know. But then I wasn't getting any better. I was getting worse, and to the point where I was vomiting. And I almost never vomit. I'm not a vomiter type of person. Because some people just vomit at the drop of a hat, right? And it's like, oh, I vomited, But I'm not really. Once I start vomiting, I know I'm really, really super sick. And I was in the truck, and I was using plastic bags to vomit into. Hopefully, I'm not getting too gross and graphic here, but because I'm in a truck parked somewhere. I don't even remember where I parked. And I'm laying down and I'm thinking I'll get better, and I wasn't getting better. And it was the point where I was just vomiting bile, right? And I knew that this was not good. So I found out where the nearest hospital was, and I drove the truck. And I know it's, in retrospect, maybe not a good idea if you're that sick to drive an 18-wheeler, but I had to get myself to the hospital. And I felt good enough that I could drive, and I made it. I had to drive I don't know, it was like 10 or 15 miles. I ended up driving across the street from the hospital was a Home Depot, and trucks were parking there. So I went across the street, parked the truck, vomited a couple more times into a plastic bag, and then walked myself into the ER. And at this point, I don't know. I have no idea why I'm doing this. I'm thinking maybe food poisoning, but it seemed extreme, like it was really bad. And so I go in, I sign in, and I'm telling them I really am sick. I've been vomiting and I'm nauseous and I feel lightheaded and dizzy and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, "Well, just take a seat. We'll get to you as soon as we can." And so I'm taking a seat and I'm sitting there. Probably, I don't know, maybe an hour, and which I know a lot of times in the ER or whatever that might not be that big of a deal. But I was getting to the point where I got sick again, and there was like a wastebasket nearby. I remember I just grabbed it and I vomited into the wastebasket right there in the ER room, right in front of the little nurse's desk. And as soon as I did that, next thing I knew, I was on a gurney and I was back into the ER room, one of the rooms. I mean, I guess if you ever want to get seen really quick, just start vomiting. And so anyhow, they did tests on me. They did all this shit. And they said, "You have pancreatitis." Because I guess my enzyme levels were through the roof or what. I don't know. There was all this shit. I don't know. And they said, "You got pancreatitis." And I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And I guess they explained it. Yeah, they were talking about enzymes and shit. And so I said, "What happens? What's going to happen to me?" And they're like, "Well, we're going to treat you and we're going to put you on this IV and we're going to admit you to the hospital and put you on these meds and these IVs and we'll see how it goes." So I ended up being in the hospital for I think it was 2 nights, and then on the third day in the afternoon I got released because so I started feeling better. Yeah, they hooked me up to an IV and they were giving me medication, like I don't know if it was antibiotics or whatever, and they took really good care of me. They were really awesome. The nursing staff was great and the doctors were great. This was at Casa Grande hospital or whatever. And I remember by the second night, I was feeling better, a little bit better. And then by the third day, I was feeling pretty good. A complete turnaround from the couple nights before. I was feeling pretty good. So I guess I got out of it. And then one of the nurses came in because I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling a lot better." And she goes, "Yeah, if you want to get out of here, you got to start walking. You got to just get up. You can carry your little. They have the IV thing on wheels." She goes, "You can just take that around with you and just start doing laps, and then the doctor will see that, and it will." And I was like, "Okay." So the next thing I knew, because I wanted to get out. At this point, I wanted to get out, and I had my little hospital robe on. I'm like trying to tie it up as best as I can, so my ass isn't hanging out. And I had the IV stand, and I just started, and I don't think she meant for me to do it that much, but I was literally just walking around that thing for like ever. And then I went back to the room, and then the next thing I knew, the doctor's in there. He's like, "Oh, it looks like you're feeling better, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel great." So he was like, "Yeah, we checked all your levels. Everything looks like it's back to normal. You're looking good. And so we're going to go ahead and release you." And I was like, "Oh, good, great, thanks." So then I just walked to my truck, and went back to work. And then, but then I had and this is right before I started becoming an IC, because then it was like a couple weeks later, become an independent contractor with Schneider. You have to go through this orientation thing, and it was up in Phoenix, I think. Yeah, it was in Phoenix, and that's where I picked up my truck. And Schneider puts you up in a hotel, and they usually have like 2 people per room. So one of the other guys I was going through the orientation with, he was in there, and I had told him how just like a week previous or so, I had pancreatitis, because I was saying I didn't even know if I was going to make it here or not. I had this pancreatitis, and I was in the hospital. And then he goes, "Man, my sister is a nurse, and she told me about somebody had pancreatitis and they died." I was like, "Fuck, really?" I go, "I didn't know it was that serious." He goes, "Yeah, that shit's serious." He goes, "You don't want to get it again. If you get it a second time, you're probably gonna die. And I was like, thank you for being for that. And I gotta tell you, for about a good couple months after that, I was eating a lot of salads and stuff. I don't know. So that's my pancreatitis story. If anyone was interested. Michael Bandra says nurses and doctors are great. They helped me tremendously when I had my 7 heart attacks. Wow, that's a lot of heart attacks, Michael. Hope you're doing better now and everything. Jolie says, got to go. My daughter is taking me out for baby birthday lunch. Love y'all. Thank you, Jolie. Hey, thank you for being here, Jolie. Go have a good time. Enjoy your birthday. And happy birthday to you, Jolie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jolie. Happy birthday to you. You might already be gone by now, but anyhow, have a good one. And if I do the afternoon show and you're out partying, just go party. Have a good day. Have a good birthday. Let's see. And I think I am going to shut down here in a little bit. We are over 2 hours. And I'll probably be coming back on at 3, I guess. It's sort of depending on if Hal's on or not. Hal Sparks is about the only show that I really try not to overlap because a lot of this show were based on the sparklers being here and doing the warm-up shows and the post shows and doing shows when Hal's not on. And all the other shows, there's a lot of other shows that I like, but I can't, sometimes we're going to overlap. Sometimes we're going to be on at the same time. And I can't really help that. That's just the way it goes. That's, can't help it. But for Hal, that's the one show that I try not to overlap on. So we'll see how it goes. If Hal is going to be on, but let's just say tentatively, let's just say 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'll come back on. We'll do an hour. But that depends on when Hal's coming on. So just look at the notifications. Look at the community tab. If you have me on Facebook or Discord or anything like that, I'll try to post any updates on when I'm coming on. But I guess tentatively speaking, we'll be back on at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And I think I'm going to call it. I think I'll go ahead and call it a day. I think I'm going to go try and make an appointment with Avis. See if I can get that Mach E. All right, guys. And we'll see you then. Non-news had pancreatitis. Oh, and he deleted that thing. But yeah, pancreatitis is no picnic. There's no day in the park. So be careful with I guess, eating a lot of, like for me, I don't know, eating a lot of greasy truck stop food. Probably wasn't good for me. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks, everyone, for liking, subscribing, and sharing the show. Share the show out. Let's get more and more of us in here so you can hear these riveting stories about my pancreatitis and about my rental car issues and my issues with Indivisible, Nevada. And why does my hand feel sticky right here? I don't know. I did have some jelly earlier. Maybe that's what it was. Anyhow, all right, guys. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to have to say goodnight. No, I say good afternoon. Hopefully we'll see you at 3. Like I say, it's TBD. And hopefully I'll see you guys again this afternoon. All right. That's it for today. I'm going to do some stretching too. Stretch the hammy.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully. Nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about gold chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we